Hi, welcome back to World of the Psychic.
Together we shall cast ourselves into the future.
Seen any aliens lately?
This is a part of America we never get to see.
Are you by chance referring to the legend of the Loch Ness monster?
A ball of twine that weighs 19,000 pounds.
What is this, nerd porn?
It is about the Templar treasure, but it's also about other things, conspiracy theories, urban legends, and other myths that are true.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the
Travel
Oddities Podcast. And here we are to the most important part of the show. Not Batman versus Superman, because in the real world, we all know who would win, Batman. It's the I always want to say the Altamaha-ha river monster.
Altie,
out of Darien, Georgia.
There are stories of a large snake-like animal swimming in the waters of Georgia's Altamaha River.
Okay.
These date back to the 18th century. Originally heard from by the Tama Indian tribe.
Now, I spent some time watching videos.
Mm-hmm.
We know I'm not going in the water. So I'm going to take the Tama Indians tribe word for it. I'm going to take Jimmy, Joe, John, Jerry, all their words for it, and just stay out of it. Okay. I mean, I've already come to that conclusion. I'm not getting in the water.
Right. But your description, or what you saw it being described as, was Nessie.
Nessie. Like a plesiosaur type, what kind of a sea serpent, a prehistoric sea serpent type creature.
The descriptions that are more often used, they describe it as looking like a huge sturgeon with the head of an alligator, being approximately 30 foot long, with smooth green skin and tire tread like ridges on its back.
Okay, I'm out.
And a tail like a porpoise.
It's not like Nessie. I mean, not like Nessie. It's not like Pete's dragon where I can, I'm the only one that knows he's there and we're friends and he lets me fly around. I don't even know if I would fly around on Pete's dragon's back. I mean, I'm just, this kind of stuff, I don't know why. I don't know where this fear of water and fear of like creatures came from. But I think a lot of it has to do with me growing up thinking that Jason Voorhees was going to grab me in the water.
See, the Jason Voorhees in the water thing never bothered me. It was the Freddy Krueger in the bathtub thing.
Oh, coming up between your legs? You're weird.
Not coming up between my legs, just like
anywhere. Just
right.
just being.
As soon as the water got bubbly enough or soap
where you couldn't
enough,
see?
Yeah, I was done. I was out.
Hey, Harley, how about I scrub your back for you?
That was horrible.
That was bad. I'm sorry. I'm not in line to reprise Freddy's role.
No, you are definitely
not.
So a lot of the current encounters describe swimmers bumping into this thing in the water.
See that again? Unless I can determine it's a log or it scares me, man. Creatures in the water. I don't even know if I could swim with dolphins. Could you swim with dolphins?
No, dolphins are creepy.
They're too much like us. They want to hump. You never seen like videos of people like,
I've seen it.
They're like, whoa, easy does it there, champ.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's some horn dog critters. But yeah, everything I've read, everything I'm seeing about this creature says I'm out.
Well, cryptozoologists have speculated that Altie may only spawn in the river and that it actually lives in the ocean like salmon.
Okay, so that makes sense. Like seasonally, it will come into the shallows, but kind of swim up upstream, give birth, and then
head on back
to the nor'easter, to the Gulf.
So the river is one of the largest in Georgia. It dumps directly into the Gulf, and it is one of the largest river basins in the country. So that kind of lends credence to maybe there's something living in that water.
If you're paying attention to it, there's a lot of clickbait out there. If you subscribe to the right groups or subscribe to the right pages, there's a lot of clickbait. It's like new specimen, new creature, new species, all the time. The picture that I posted on our Facebook the other day of the fish that can hear heartbeats, man.
Yeah.
These are, we don't know. There's so many, there's space and then there's the deep. There's so many things we don't know about what goes beyond 5,000 feet.
There was actually a quote that I pulled.
Okay.
From somebody who was trying to lend credence to it. And his point was, as humans, we've only discovered 10% of the animals that live on 10% of the earth.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. Now, a lot of that are minor variations, and a lot of it's bugs and bacteria and that sort of thing. But it's still interesting when you think, yeah, we know everything. And it's
right.
No, not so much.
I mean, and there are species of mammals and sea life that are newly discovered or believed to have been extinct that are being rediscovered all the time on different continents. I mean, you can't save them all. I mean, because there's just it hadn't been that long ago. There was a creature that washed up on the shore in Russia that no one had ever seen before. The things that die at the bottom, that ocean churns things up. You just never know what's going to wash up on shore. I have a fear of the unknown. I think that's a lot of it for me. Jokingly, if my toes can't touch the bottom, I'm not interested. If I could be in a safe environment and be at the bottom of the ocean and observe these creatures, I'm all in. But swimming and then like bumping up next to me or, trying to, I don't know, lay me. I don't know. I'm just not in, man. I'm not in.
Okay. There are other cryptozoologists who say that this thing may actually live part of its life in rice paddies in the area.
Okay.
So that kind of says.
No, would they feed off of some? I mean, do they? I wonder what their diet would be. I mean, I'm assuming a largely vegetarian diet, maybe, shrimp, small shrimp, or like plankton type creatures or something like that. I mean, again, we don't know enough about what, typically if you live in the vegetation, you're part of that ecosystem. So, I don't know.
So you think it's a vegetarian?
Probably. I mean, God, I hope so. But from the other descriptions that you read, would say probably not.
If it's got a head like an alligator?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not on the. It's probably on the paleo diet if it's got a head like an alligator.
Absolutely. So Darien, Georgia is the number one biggest hotspot for Altie sightings. There's actually an exhibit at the Fernbank Science Center with a life-size model of Altie built on eyewitness accounts. They're also not shy about the subject at like the visitor center or the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, hell, the Darien, welcome to Darien, Georgia sign's got a picture of an Altie on it.
Right.
So it's like,
and I think it's somewhere like 10% of all businesses in Darien have
an Altie burger. No.
Have Altie built into their billboard or some form of fashion.
When I say Altie, my tendency is to say Aldi.
Like the
grocery store.
German grocery store.
The German grocery store where you pay $0.25 for your
cart rental.
Shopping cart rental, yeah.
You don't pay $0.25.
You don't pay $0.25. You get it back.
Right.
Or you can give it to the next person.
I didn't know you could do that.
But Altie, you can't buy him for $0.25.
So there have been sightings for over 100 years.
Right.
By fishermen, Boy Scouts, hunters, all throughout the tributaries and marshes of the river. I'm not going to butcher the name of that river again.
It's the Alta. Say it with me.
Altamaha-ha.
Ha.
See? Altamaha-ha.
And there are some people that go ha 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 when you talk about the Altie. I mean, there's a fair amount of people that live there most of their adult lives and have never had sightings of it. Now, some say the reason why they haven't seen it is because of probably because of the greenish skin, the pigment of the animal, the clarity of the water. I mean, so one can assume that not every churning of the water or bubble of the water is an Altie, but a lot of people believe that it is. So, or a lot of it is.
Just to go out on the skeptic's limb for a second, I would assume...
How dare you?
If you have an Altie in that river system, that you probably have a lot fewer alligators.
Oh, I would say so, yeah.
Than other rivers in the same...
I would say the Altie, whereas in most environments such as that would be home to alligators, crocodiles, where they're the top of the food chain, Altie's probably, I'd say it's the top of the food pyramid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we talking about like the FDA food pyramid where you've got to eat?
Yeah.
You can only eat small portions.
You can only eat small portions.
Got it.
Of the Altie. So yeah, I mean.
Okay, so we've got some specific sightings. The first one, I put it first on purpose. There are links to all of these stories in the show notes. If you want to dive down a rabbit hole, there's plenty of stuff there. Plenty of source material to go through. But this person's name is Bobby Yules. He said, I live here in a swamp, and I know there is something in the water. I've seen it 2 years ago down at a place where it is real deep, that this thing came out of the water. I've seen this big head. The gills were so big you could put your head in.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
sounds like a sturgeon. I mean, I'm just saying. They said it's a sturgeon-like creature.
Agreed. So he said it came up out of the water and slammed its body into the water so hard that it sounded like a car accident. And I'm paraphrasing because I got sick of reading the broken English. Sorry.
What was the broken English as? I mean, were you like reporting as he was giving this interview?
No, I just grabbed his story off of one of the message boards, and I've got his again. It's all in the show notes. You can reach him. His email address is in there if you want to hear more. He seems super excited in a southern kind of way.
In a southern deep, saw it deep down in the holler water kind of thing.
Right.
Well, you can email me, Bobby Long at live.com, and I'll tell you all about it. What it says at the very end. So, yeah, Bobby Long at live.com. If you want to reach out to Bobby and get his account of Altie, the Altamaha-ha, the ultimate Altamaha-ha monster.
All right, so
Plesiosaur.
I've got a few more of the personal encounters. There are a whole lot more, again, in the show notes. You can go dive deeper, like I said before.
No pun intended.
In 1970, Donnie Manning and his brother, yes, I got it, it was funny. Donnie Manning and his brother were fishing from his father's houseboat on the river at Clark's Bluff.
What river?
The Altamaha-ha.
You know what? No, you got it wrong. We've got it wrong.
Why?
When they refer to the creature, it's the Altamaha-ha. When they refer to the river, it's the Altamaha-ha. Or Altamaha-ha. Yeah, Altamaha-ha. Anyway, go ahead. Clark's Bluff. Continue.
Okay, so they said they could see fairly well for a good distance. They were fishing for catfish and had caught several when something took the hook, but instead of the typical catfish run and stop and turn, etc., it just ran and ran. Coming out of the water where they could see it, it was 10 to 12 feet long. At first he thought it was a sturgeon, but then he said he could tell it wasn't. It had a snout, almost like that of an alligator, or he said it made him think of a duck-billed platypus. It had a horizontal tail instead of a fish-like vertical one. And it had spiny, kind of bony, triangular ridge along the top of its body.
Now, I'm only going to say this because of the descriptions all sound the same. What else has you say it was a horizontal tail? What is it? Vertical tail?
Horizontal tail.
Horizontal tail. A snout. And what's the other thing they said that kind of fits the a dorsal fin that was down, which it sounds to me
Go ahead.
what they got themselves was
Go ahead and say it.
a manatee.
Yeah, except for the razor sharp teeth in its maw, and that it moved and slid like a snake.
It moved and slipped in the water?
Yes.
How can you slide in the water?
Like a side-to-side slide.
But they didn't reel it in.
They said they were using 40-pound test line, and it snapped like kite cord.
You know, that 40-pound test, that's pretty good old string to use on when you're out there catfishing.
I have no idea. I'm not a fisherman.
You're not a fisher of men?
No, that's your
No,
gig.
that's yours.
That's your
You're a fisher of men.
Okay, so 10
men.
10 years later, Larry Gwynn of Brunswick reported that while he and his partner Steve Wilson were eel fishing in Smith Lake, they saw a snake-like creature 15 to 20 foot long. They said its body was as big around as a man's, and it had two brownish humps about 5 feet apart. They said it dove into the water, causing a swirl. It didn't come back up, but the water boiled. They said it looked like the wake of a racing boat.
Scary.
Sounds a little, I mean, that sounds like some Aquaman stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, I always say it. Here we are at the point of the show where I say, at this point in the game, Harley, where are you at? We're 48 minutes and 34 seconds in.
Copy that.
And most of it's been yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So of all the yada, yada, blah, 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 where do you stand at this?
Firmly on the shore.
Not interested in getting in and
Wrestling with it?
getting your hands on a beauty. The Altie monster.
I'm not going to go noodling for Altie.
Do you believe?
It's possible. I mean, anything's possible. Like I said, we don't.
Anything is possible.
It's one of those things. It's possible. Not likely, but possible.
What do you think it is?
If I had to guess, I don't know. If we had to say it can only be
this.
No, it can only be something that science agrees exists today.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to go with freak sturgeon or escaped python.
You're not even, to me.
You want me to say manatee. You always want me to say manatee.
I do, because manatees are in the area.
Yeah, but manatees are not 30 foot long.
They're pretty damn big, dude.
They're like 10 feet long.
Okay, but wait a second. We're talking, okay. Has anyone seen a 30-foot Altie out of the water? Everything in the water looks 30 feet. Those fish that were swimming beneath the canoe, which is, can I just say, the worst? Okay, the first time you go on a river, period, ever been on a river, a period in your life, the worst mode of transportation, unless you're a Native American or Grizzly freaking Adams,
hang on,
or a mountaineer.
So unless you're a Native American or Grizzly Adams, then
mountaineer.
Canoes are probably not the best way to travel. So
when you have to traverse rocks.
Hang on. Remind me again. What nationality are you?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It does.
It's not an inherent trait.
It does matter. What nationality?
It's not programmed into my DNA how to freaking...
Then why would you say that?
Okay. You should ask me, can you chew gum, pat your hand on your head, and rub your belly at the same time? I didn't know that I had to row the opposite. I didn't know what side you were rowing on when we tipped the canoe the first time.
Okay, well, we tipped the canoe the first time. It had nothing to do with you rowing. It had everything to do with you shaking violently until we flipped over.
Dude. So anyway, the fish that I saw beneath the canoe on our 20-mile, I don't know why on your first time on a river would you do 20 miles?
It wasn't 20 miles. It was 13.
13 miles in indirect sunlight. Anyway, I wasn't hallucinating. These fish that I saw looked 10 feet long, but water magnification.
Okay. So, in the media, you've got multiple instances of Altie showing up. So, obviously, the well-respected newspaper Weekly World News did a story in 1981. Monster serpent lurks in murky American river.
I think they're the ones that did Bat Boy as well.
Yes, they did. There was also a children's book written on the topic by Ann Davis called The Tale of the Altamaha Monster.
Joke time.
Hit me.
What did the manatee say to the other manatee when it ran into it accidentally?
I have no idea.
I didn't mean to do that. It wasn't on purpose.
Ha. Okay, here, actually, we went to the movie, Connor and I. Got our tickets, went inside, went to the concession stand. I hand Connor the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Dad, why does it say you're a manatee? And I said, what? They had abbreviated matinee.
to where it looked like manatee?
It said child and manatee.
Manatee. That's funny.
Okay, so from the Skeptic's Corner, you got Wally Orrell, president of the Darien Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
He says about 2.5 years ago, we moved the Welcome Center to the outlet mall, picked up some extra space, and hired a marketing company to research McIntosh County. I'd never heard of it, but they discovered sightings going back 250 years, and some of those people had not been drinking.
But how have we not caught one yet? Now, if we're talking 200 years, Native Americans well established in this area, the Tama tribe, Wouldn't they be eating on these things? Would it not have thinned out the herd at some point?
Maybe it ate the Indians.
Yeah, but how does something survive 200 years? There's nothing out there that could poach it.
Brett,
what?
You yourself, not 20 minutes ago.
I know, but I can still have questions.
And my question is, the creature that washed up on the shore in Russia
that they couldn't. Yes.
How come they never found it before?
There's so many unknowns.
Exactly. Okay, so some of the obvious skeptical answers to this.
Okay.
It's a river otter. It's a dolphin.
Okay.
It's a manatee. It's a pack of beavers. I'm still going with giant anaconda, escaped pet.
Giant anaconda.
Yeah.
With a horizontal fin.
No.
A dorsal fin.
No. You get a giant snake going through the river, it gets something caught on its back or pops up in a weird way. You think it's a fin.
Did you see, I think it's in maybe the Philippines, where they captured that giant anaconda were literally the size of its
pulling
heads.
the boat?
Yes.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's what this thing is.
Man, that's some cruising speeds, man. But how does it jump out of the water?
Who says it does? It could just curl out of the water. It could throw up its tail. I'm sorry, something large, moving fast, dark environment, murky water. It didn't jump out of the water. Part of it came up out of the water. That's my answer.
Your answer?
Skeptical answer.
Okay.
So if you're going to visit, some supplies.
What do you need?
A kayak, not a canoe. Especially if you're going with Brett.
Not a kayak, even. What if that thing pulls it over? Supper. You're done. Toast.
No. What's wrong with a kayak?
It's not big enough.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
I agree with the sheriff on this one. You're going to need a bigger boat for something like that.
All right.
That's what they call a fool's errand.
Camera, camcorder, galoshes. You probably need some fishing line that's higher than 40 test pounds.
Right.
What else?
God, the will to live. Balls made of pure meteorite. I mean, you've got to be out of this world to want to deal with something like that. Some wading boots.
Some galoshes. That's why I threw that one out there already.
Okay, how come Jeremy Wade hasn't caught one of these things?
Who's Jeremy Wade?
You don't watch River Monsters?
Oh, that guy.
Dude, he catches everything.
Now, how about that as an option, though? Something like the alligator gar. Just a humongous alligator
beast. You can't eat them because they're gross. They get big. They get really
and they have a snout like a crocodile. An alligator.
Mm-hmm. I think I will go alligator gar. They look prehistoric.
They do look pretty gross.
And they get up to like 30 feet.
Do they get that big?
Yes.
I'm calling bullshit.
Look it up.
We get it. We're going to consult the book of knowledge on this one?
Yes, do it.
All right, I'm going. Entertain the masses, bro.
I mean, you want me to entertain?
Yeah, we can't just leave dead air.
Doop, 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 doop,
no.
Doop, doop. So, things to look forward to.
Okay, go ahead.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Did you like the...
Oh, okay. See, I'm right. You're wrong.
What does it say?
According to Wikipedia, which we all know.
No, 8 feet. No, that's wrong.
No, it says 10 feet.
Okay.
So, scientific reports suggest the alligator gars can grow up to 10 feet and weigh as much as 300 pounds. Yeah, and check out that nasty picture.
Dude, if they got a hold of you, you're done.
Okay, so I'm going to give the alligator gar a solid 4 stars on this one.
Yeah. So you're going to say that could very well, if they're native to the area. Or if they're not.
They're an invasive species, though, so I'm thinking even if they're not native to the area, they could be native to the area.
They could be native to the area. I say native to the area. We live in Oklahoma, and some parts of southeastern Oklahoma have alligators.
Mm-hmm.
So
Southeast Oklahoma?
Yeah. Look at that.
Okay, that looks like a solid 15-foot.
Easy.
Okay, so maybe you're right.
Those are some water dinosaurs, bro.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so maybe it's an alligator gar.
Maybe it's an alligator gar.
Maybe it's a self-aware alligator gar.
Because even like it's got the ridges on the head. The scales are like the size of $50.
It doesn't have the sideways fin though.
The dorsal fin.
The vertical tail fin.
Look at that is real, man.
Horizontal tail fin. That's crazy. All right, so I say that's a good possibility.
That's a very good possibility.
All right, so what what do you do?
Stay out of the water.
Did you just jump the clip? You dick.
I did.
Be warned. It is my job to arm you against the foulest creatures known to wizard kind. You may find yourselves facing your worst fears in this room. Know only that no harm can befall you whilst I am here. I must ask you not to scream.
I would not scream, but I would not be a happy camper. I'm not swimming around with those things, man.
Okay, so defense against the dark arts, you say stay out of the water?
Yeah, or a stick of freaking dynamite, man.
I don't know. I'm going with the Jaws titanium cage.
But you saw what happened there.
Yeah, but
Hooper almost bit it. Or got bitted.
You compare an alligator gar
to Jaws
to a massively oversized great white shark.
Think of a megalodon.
Your mom is a megalodon.
A megalodon could eat Jaws like it's... isn't it a megalodon?
Yes.
They could eat Jaws like it was a tuna?
Right. So you're saying it's a megalodon?
Yeah, right. Imagine being a caveman back then.
Yeah, I don't think that's chronologically possible, but I get your point. It would be a bad day to go fishing.
You would need a bigger canoe or a bigger log with a hole
you just
cut in it.
Stick to nuts and fruit.
Yeah, I will be in history as the first vegan. Thank you. I will be foraging for nuts and berries and digging seeds out of Brachiosaurus shit before I deal with a megalodon.
Okay, so a little bit about the town of Darien. It was founded in 1736. That's old. Population less than 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's 30 miles north of Brunswick on the Georgia coast. And it is also the location of Fort King George.
Fort King George. Now, is it... do we have any history on that? No?
Not really. We do have a link in the show notes for the history of the town of Darien, so you can get a little bit of information there.
Oh, cool.
So Altie's Flipper...
Bar and Grill?
Altie's likeness is prominent on all the local advertising. There are murals of Altie. So, yeah, it's there. So, some things to do in the city of Darien. You've got Fort King George Historic Site. You've got the Darien River Wine and Eco Cruise. And you have the Old Jail Art Center and Museum.
Okay, so that sounds like meh.
Yeah, I think you would have to have the Darien River Wine and Eco Cruise would have to have the wine before the cruise.
Yeah. If me? Are you talking about me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I will take a red.
And a white. And
what's better with
keep
fish?
them coming.
Just keep them coming. And I'm not going to get in the water. I'm going to stay up here and watch you guys have fun.
All right, so went to Yelp, found a good place to eat. 4.5 stars on Yelp. Skipper's Fish Camp.
Oh, really?
It's on Scriven Street.
See, it would be a fish place.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's right on the coast.
I'm not into the fish.
Okay, how about some garlic shrimp and cheese grits?
See, I can do that.
See?
I mean, I could do tilapia, a grilled fish.
How about sweet potato souffle, onion rings? No?
Souffle, maybe.
How about some gator tail?
I can do gator tail. I can do gator tail.
They got you covered. They also carry
I do all kinds of tail.
They carry the turf as well as the surf.
Oh, yeah.
So you get you a good steak.
Nice play.
Yeah. I've got the whole menu linked in the show notes. Looks really cool. A lot of good stuff to eat. Sounds like a really down-to-earth kind of restaurant.
So your verdict?
My verdict is in.
The verdict is in.
Dude, why is it that you're always trying to get me to call foul?
I'm not trying to get you to call foul.
You're trying to get me to call alligator gar.
Well, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there's a real good possibility that it's an alligator gar.
Am I being lazy if I say I might agree?
Yes, you're being lazy.
I say manatee.
Dude, you and the manatee, you've got like a serious weird fish boner for the manatee.
I was trying to impersonate it.
Do you like practice holding your breath so when you run into one, you can show him a good time?
I'll tell you a movie to watch, but not with your kids. Tusk. Kevin Smith. It's about a guy who, Michael Parks, who's in it. He was in some of the Kill Bill movies. He was also in Red State, which is another really good Kevin Smith movie. But anyway, he is a guy that's on a quest to recreate a human hybrid of a walrus. So he puts up wanted, he wants to do an interview or whatever or something. And I think it's Stephen Long. I think that's his name. Anyway, he answers the ad and the guy drugs him and cuts his legs off and does all this stuff to turn him into this walrus.
Okay.
And he ends up living, but he gets put into this at the end, in the cheap ass broke down water park as this human looking walrus thing. You should see it. It's creepy.
Sounds awesome.
It's really good. But that made me think of it. Manatees are in the same. They're in the same family. They're mammalian.
I want to hear from the listeners.
Listener feedback or not. So Jerry Jenkins. Jerry, he writes in and says, "Love the podcast, guys. The bit that Brett did last time about the lavender lube, I thought it was hilarious."
Hold on. I'm the one who said lavender lube.
Hey, can I finish the review?
Go for it.
The bit that Brett did about the lavender lube, I thought it was spot on. It was hilarious. Keep it up, Brett. And tell Harley, stick to the news. Well, Jerry, that's not fair.
I think you just made this guy up.
Jerry Jenkins?
Yes, Jerry Jenkins sounds very fictitious.
And then there's another one.
Is this a real one?
Yes.
Okay.
It's from Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson writes, Brett, where can I acquire this lavender lube? Great question. I made it up. I was trying to be funny, and it was funny. No, you can't get it. But she also says, keep up the good work.
I think somebody needs to check the tapes because that came directly from me.
Okay, to be honest, we don't have any feedback this week. I'm just going to be honest.
No Mother Trucker.
No Mother Trucker. Anthony's AWOL.
Fell out on the job.
So
I think I died a little bit inside.
I did. I mean, we usually hear from him.
All right. So we're to that point of the show then. Send us your suggestions for upcoming shows.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook, Travel Oddities Podcast.
If you're in a special group, we will be in your feed.
I don't know what that meant. That sounded scary.
I mean, like
a threat.
Well, we're going to invade your feed.
That's very threatening.
We're going to reach you.
That also sounded threatening.
We're going to be reached by you.
Okay, that's not so threatening.
Like us on Facebook.
Yes, Travel Oddities Podcast. Already said that.
Follow us on Twitter.
At
Travel_oddities. At. That's it.
Okay. Give us a review on iTunes.
Please.
5 stars.
Like us on Facebook.
You already said like us on Facebook.
That's right. I'm trying to be repetitive.
Try harder.
Okay.
That's the show.
That's the show. That's been Travel Oddities. I'm Brett.
And I'm Harley.
Peace.
Peace.